Before any names or timelines come into focus, this is really a conversation about continuity, about how championship offenses hold their shape over time, especially inside the red zone, where trust, timing, and shared memory matter more than raw talent. This story isn't about an announcement. It's about what certain words, reactions, and relationships tell us when you slow the game down and look at it structurally instead of emotionally. I'm Daniel, and when I listened to Travis Kelce talk about the direction of the Kansas City Chiefs, what stood out wasn't excitement for a new season or even nostalgia for the past. What stood out was how familiar everything sounded, like a player still thinking in terms of weekly installs, red zone adjustments, and situational football rather than endings or exits. When Kelce speaks about Eric Bieniemy returning, the tone matters. He's not talking like someone reminiscing. He's talking like someone preparing. Inside a red zone offense, preparation shows up long before training camp. It shows up in language. It shows up in how players describe coaches, concepts, and roles. And Kelce's words fit cleanly into that pattern. Inside the 20-yard line, the Chiefs' offense has always been less about surprise and more about precision. Space is compressed. Windows are smaller. Defenses switch to matchup rules instead of zone landmarks. In those moments, the quarterback and tight end relationship becomes central, and that relationship only works when the system around it is stable. That's where Bieniemy's name carries weight. Eric Bieniemy's previous run with Kansas City coincided with some of the most efficient red zone seasons of Patrick Mahomes' career. Not because the plays were exotic, but because the sequencing made sense. Early down play action created leverage. Motion forced defenses to declare coverage. And on third down, especially inside the 10, Kelce was rarely guessing. He knew where the void would open because the design had already stressed the defense one step earlier. That kind of clarity doesn't happen in isolation. It's built over seasons of shared problem solving. When Kelce talks about growing moments, that's not a vague compliment. In situational football, growth often means learning how to win reps when the defense already knows what's coming. In the red zone, everyone knows the ball might be going to Kelce, and it still works when timing and leverage are right. This is why the idea of Kelce stepping away never fully aligned with how the Chiefs operate offensively. His role isn't just production-based. It's structural. He's the piece that allows Andy Reid to keep his playbook wide without overwhelming younger receivers. He's the answer to pressure looks on third down. He's the movable chess piece that forces linebackers and safeties into uncomfortable decisions near the goal line. When you consider that Mahomes is working his way back toward full health with a clear Week 1 target, the importance of offensive continuity becomes even sharper. Quarterbacks returning from injury rely heavily on trusted reads in high-leverage areas. The red zone is where hesitation turns into field goals. Keeping Kelce in that ecosystem reduces decision load. It shortens the quarterback's internal clock in the best way possible. Kelce mentioning an early March decision timeline also fits the same pattern. That's not drama management. That's roster math. Free agency and the draft are where red zone offenses are either protected or disrupted. Knowing whether your primary tight end is in the building changes how you allocate resources, how you design packages, and how you develop younger players. This is situational awareness off the field, which mirrors situational awareness on it. Historically, the Chiefs' red zone efficiency has gone through phases. Early Mahomes seasons lean heavily on improvisation. Later playoff runs showed more discipline, more pre-snap control, and more trust in defined reads. Kelce has been the constant through all of it. Removing that constant would force a recalibration that doesn't align with a team still operating in championship windows. Bieniemy's return signals a willingness to re-anchor the offense around concepts that already proved sustainable. Inside the red zone, sustainability matters more than novelty. Defenses study tendencies relentlessly. The Chiefs have survived that scrutiny because their execution margin remains high. That margin shrinks without veterans who understand how to adjust routes by inches instead of yards. From a fan's perspective, this doesn't feel like someone squeezing out one last season. It feels like unfinished work. The language, the planning, the respect for process, all of it points toward a player who still sees himself as part of the solution, especially when games tighten and possessions shrink. This also reinforces what separates Kansas City from most contenders. Decisions aren't rushed. They're layered. Coaches, players, and front offices speak the same situational language. That alignment shows up on 3rd and goal, in 2-minute drills, and in how seasons are built before they're played. Nothing Kelce said was definitive, and it didn't need to be. In football, especially at this level, clarity often comes through behavior rather than declarations. Right now, everything about this situation behaves like continuity. And when you look at it through a red zone lens, through spacing, timing, leverage, and trust, continuity is exactly what championship teams protect most. That's the takeaway here. Not a headline. Not a countdown. Just a familiar structure holding steady, waiting for the next snap.